Stream of Consciousness series continuing here. In this video, we're going to talk about life. It's not so serious. We'll reset our 5 minutes. If you'd like to know what I'm doing, please go back to the original video, which introduces the Stream of Consciousness series that we are doing. I am about 2 hours and 40 some odd minutes in at this point, getting a little tired, but I am just loaded with energy and ready to go. So, this particular one, there's another topic that'll be coming up shortly, which is talking about being softer. So every kind of year we've been recognizing lately that there's kind of been a theme for the year, in our household, in our family, and last year's was learning to be softer, which we're going to get to. But the topic for this year is it's not so serious, and I believe this ties back into so much of what we've been trying to learn for so many years about embracing childlikeness. I'm going to be talking about just why kids are frozen and just the terror of and the fear of the world of adulthood, which we've covered. But one of the memories that Jen and I had is when we were first, we first got married and we were buying our first place, and I'd gotten some inheritance money, and we had enough for a down payment on a condominium. And this was 1778. It was quite a while ago. But we remember sitting in this bank, with all this serious paperwork being done, and they brought us some Timbits, which was very nice. And we think back on the memory we were reminded of this, that while all this big serious business was going on, we were like chucking Timbits at each other from across the room, because from what we understood then, which I'm amazed that we even had a level of this kind of understanding then, was just like, it's not so serious. Like, everyone is just so serious. It's not. So let's just have fun with this. And how the seasons of life where we kind of fell away from that and lost that level. Because don't get me wrong, there's lots of things that happen in life that are serious. Like losing our daughter was a serious thing. It wasn't something we'd be like, hey, that's not so serious. And that's a later video. But so many of the things that we get caught up in, which is just like, oh, if you were to step back, in the previous video when I was talking about my grandfathers in the war, we were sitting there going like with what other people have gone through, like this situation right now, of which I can name 12 of them, happening in our life right now, which in the past I just would have been like, oh my God. And I'm just like, it's not so serious. Now that takes a mental fortitude to kind of get there, to stay there, to be able to embrace that, to continually remind yourself that it's not so serious. But I had like a really cool conversation with one of my daughters the other day, and this is my 16-year-old, and she was, and again, as I've explained earlier, the great honor of my daughters being able to tell me, talk to me or their mother about really kind of sensitive stuff that isn't really normal for kids to talk to their parents about. And so my daughter was explaining to me about just kind of feeling like, I'm at this particular age, and there are boys that are interested in me, and I'm just like this. I think there's something wrong with me because I'm just not interested. I'm just like, I don't want to be touched. I don't want anyone going near me. And I think there's a name for this, I'm like, try not to roll my eyes, because that's not a good thing to do with teenage daughters if you want them to talk to you. Don't roll your freaking eyes and be like, oh. But she was describing this fear. And all I said to her was, I was like, Rhea, I gave her name away. I said, Rhea, you are so advanced. You are so far ahead of where I was. And this kid's been through some pretty incredible stuff. She went through a lot of bullying, and the lessons that she learned, I'm kind of looking at God, I'm like, clearly you knew what you were doing, and it was very difficult to trust you during those seasons with her, but the empathy and the wisdom coming out of this kid is outstanding. But when I looked at her, and I was like, Rhea, this stage of life that you're in right now, it is so unnatural for us anyway to be like experimenting with relationships. I'm like, I've seen nothing. There's nothing that I've seen to be more destructive in my own life or in the lives of so many young people. And I love talking with young people. where the minute you get into a relationship, when you are, I mean, half the adults I know don't know how to be in a relationship, let alone when you're a teenager. And to be deciding at that age to get into a relationship, nothing makes life as serious as a heart attack immediately than getting into a relationship when you're supposed to just be fucking enjoying life, like prepare yourself for travel, like this isn't, it's not so serious. And when I said that to her, I was like, you need to just let all that go right now and just embrace the joy of the stuff you love doing. Like, she's this unbelievably brilliant artist. She is just a natural speaker and performer, and she loves impacting people's lives. And I was just like, kid, I go, hey, you know what? Maybe you have a disorder. All I know is right now, I'll take you having a disorder and having your heart broken and have to go through the crap that so many young people have to go through because you just think it's the natural order of things. Whereas I'm looking at you and you have embraced childlikeness, and you, what you're thinking is you're self-diagnosing yourself with a problem. I'm looking at you and going, you're just maybe ahead of the curve, kid. You're 16 years old. Maybe you're just meant to embrace life and enjoy life and not be worrying about whether or not there's something wrong with you because you're not really feeling into being in a relationship with a guy right now. It's not so serious. I'm not going to lie, I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised. She was like, yep, that makes sense. That's good. No, thanks, Dad. Earlier I said, wake up every morning with daughters and pray to God that your best intentions don't do something to inadvertently screw them up. Hurt them with your best intentions. I went to bed that night going, I think I did okay today. Not so serious. All right, we're getting down to the end here. And I think this one does fit in. The next video will be, it's the tension that's killing us. This one's good.